You know what I had for lunch? Bang!
Dude.
And you know what I had for dinner? Success.
Dude, I remember this video. Len, I almost want you to put this video on the screen.
Have a bang with me.
We're going to have to play one part of it. It's a classic. Dude, so yeah, that honestly, I feel really energized today. So, I mean, I think I need to have whatever you're having.
It's getting me exciting because, the NFL season is year round, but, we are in April. We're getting closer to the NFL draft.
2 weeks till the NFL draft
is almost here. We're talking fantasy, and when you're talking with your buddy, it feels natural. So you get energized.
That's right, dude. I'm fucking ready. Welcome to the Fantasy Wise Guys. We are here. My boys all banged up. We are your hosts, Myke Meals, Joey Puma, aka Mr. Bang. Take it however you want. Probably could be in many different forms. But today is April 10th, 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. We got a lot of news, a lot of things to talk about.
Absolutely.
All right, so this week there was a lot of different news happening, a lot of signings, a lot of extensions. Well, I guess not that much, but enough that it's notable in the fantasy community.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Let's start with number one.
Okay.
Trey McBride. You had some things to say about this. The Cardinals signed him, 4 years, $76 million extension, making him the highest paid tight end in NFL history. Puma, you had some thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think for me, this is just too rich for my blood. He had one good season, and yes, he did finish tight end 3 on the season.
Yep.
But again, where is his touchdowns coming from? I feel like in the Kyler Murray offense, with James Conner by the goal line and Marvin Harrison ascending, Marvin Harrison Jr. eventually ascending, and whatever weapons that the Cardinals' future, in the draft will get, I feel like McBride is just another piece in the offense. I feel like for PPR, absolutely. Fantasy-wise, he's a great top 3 tight end. I take him in the 4th, 5th round. But in real life, I don't really need to give him this money. I mean, I had 2 more years of control over him. I really didn't have to give him the bag. And I guess this is where teams get in trouble sometimes. They just overpay on production of 1 year. Well, let me see some consistency. But, the Cardinals felt comfortable enough to give him the bag, and here we are.
I mean,
he's the most paid tight end ever.
Highest paid tight end ever. And I guess, from an NFL standpoint, you can say that it might be a lot of money. I don't think they needed to pay him right away. But from a fantasy standpoint, I think this definitely secures his future. It definitely shows their commitment to him. They're basically paying him as if he is their number 1 receiver on the team right now, because a lot of their guys, Marvin Harrison being number 1, their top rookie last year, underperformed. Trey McBride, in a way, underperformed, and you mentioned touchdown values. I just want to highlight the only 2 touchdowns that he scored last year were in week 17 and 18, basically throwaway games where they were forcing him the ball just to put some touchdowns on his stats. But he also had tons of targets, 147 targets, 90% snap percentage, 250 fantasy points regardless of the 2 touchdowns. I mean, the guy had 111 receptions, constantly catching the ball, 12 receptions, 12, 9. These are all games that he had towards the end of his season. So you see what I mean. He was very productive.
Yeah. And I think that for me, again, it was just a little too premature, but what are you going to do, right?
And last year he was the tight end 3. This year he is ranked going into the season as the tight end 2, right behind your boy, Brock Bowers.
Oh.
I mean, he is one of the elite tight ends that if I was going to draft, a tight end early, it would be either him, Kittle, or Bowers. Those are the 3 elite tight ends that I think are worth drafting early. So you're not out on McBride, are you?
In a redraft right now, yes, I am. I mean, like we just highlighted, he only scored 2 meaningless touchdowns. This game is about scoring.
Yeah, but this gives him room to improve now.
Yes, improve, but at the end of the day, I have to go on what has happened already. And right now, he does have the target share. That's important, right? So our projections can lead us to something bigger. But at the end of the day, I have to call it what it is right now. And for me, he's a tight end too. I am not drafting him. I could honestly wait on tight end, and I could get an Evan Ingram later on and have more value, and use that 4th round pick on another backup running back or a flex play at wide receiver. So for me, I think it's premature, and I think people are going to be chomping at the bit for Trey McBride. But like I said, you could wait and get a Evan Ingram or a TJ Hawkinson and have more value at the skill positions.
And just to say one more thing before we move on, I just want to highlight what Kyler Murray did say. So as you know, he's looking to run the ball a little bit more. He is a running quarterback, and he did say, I do feel like I have to run more next year. I'm open to running more next year. Just because I'm such a weapon, it's such a weapon. That's what he said. He literally repeated himself. He said, when I hand the ball off to James, I hand the ball off to Trey. We're a good rushing team, which is a great thing. So my point is, if they do rush the ball more, yeah, you're right. He might not see as many targets. He might not get as many touchdowns. But nevertheless, I love Trey McBride, and hopefully he does well. James Cook, so reportedly, obviously he's still under contract, so he will play in Buffalo next year. But he is a little unhappy. Ian Rappaport did report on it, saying that things are a little rocky between Buffalo and him right now, but he's not going to hold out. He's in his last year of his contract, $5 million, last year of his rookie deal.
Right.
He's asking for, how much was it?
Oh, like $10 million per year.
Well, $15 million.
Well, 15 he's asking for. But, previous to us recording, I did look up at Myke, and his market value.
Yeah, what's his market value?
Is 10.9.
10.9.
Yeah.
So I got you.
Yeah. So even the market knows that his value is a little bit lower than that. I think he's just trying to placate on the big seasons of Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. Not to say that he had a bad season, but I think 15 million, you're tooting your own horn a little bit. I think he should just keep his mouth shut, and then going into training camp, hopefully they give him a nice little contract when he comes. Because guys start mouthing off or anything, bro, NFL, not for long. Bills could come out, trade him, and draft somebody in the 2nd round.
True.
This draft is rich with running back. There is 10 guys, I believe, that could be quality running backs in this league. 6 that could be starters.
I mean, I agree that there's a deep running back class, but I have to say, James Cook, to me, he is one of the most elite running backs that just is really undervalued and totally underrated. And I've been seeing it since his rookie year. When I picked him up, actually, rookie year, he was still behind. Who was the running back over there?
Latavius Murray.
But before that was Singletary. Singletary was over there. He was before that. He started picking up the slack towards the end of the 2023 season. 2024 season. Oh, no. Towards the end of the 2022 season.
Right.
2023 season, he didn't score like any touchdowns, but he was amazing. Every time he touched the ball, he was gliding. And you mentioned Latavius Murray. That guy was literally getting all the red zone carries.
Yeah,
all the goal line carries. Then by the time last year came, in 2024, he had 18 touchdowns. Every time I see James Cook touch the ball, he is gliding. He's a little smaller, but he's only 25, and I think he's got a massive amount of potential. He's really, overshadowed by Josh Allen, because Josh Allen obviously does move the ball a lot. He runs a lot himself, but James Cook is a vital part of that offense. And to me, I think because of his how low his ADP is this year compared to last year, he finished RB8. Last year he finished RB8. This year he's projected RB14. I'm willing to wait and see if I can catch him in a later round, 3rd, 4th round.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's another incentive or motivation that fantasy owners should look at, that going into training camp, monitor not only James Cook contract situation, but other contracts that haven't been paid. I mean, he came out of the draft with Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, right? Other skill positions of 2022. Well, this is their offseason to get paid, right? Usually they try to sit out the year prior to that they are going to be free agents. So look for this season if they don't get a contract when season starts, when you're doing your drafts, consider them as a sneaky pick, because anybody in a walk year, they have that motivated incentive to do great.
It's a really good point. And That's kind of what I'm hoping for somebody like him. Now here's a weird one, and honestly, this kind of is the nail in the coffin for me for your boy Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill caught in a domestic violence dispute, allegedly, I want to say.
Yeah.
I mean, how does this, is he a made guy sleeping with the fishes? How does this cover him for next year?
I'm gonna say that it's still March, so he's the made guy. Obviously leaks will come out and more news will come out, so I don't want to overstep. But Tyreek Hill on the field, baller, stud when utilized the right way and correctly. But off the field right now, it started all the way in week 1, with the drama. So for me, we have to get through this first, and then we'll cross that bridge when we get a chance.
Well, he got arrested or detained last year in the beginning of the season, and then came out and scored like 2 touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking that they should detain him every week.
The first game he had 130 yards, only 1 touchdown, but he did have an 80-yard bomb, which was the touchdown.
Right.
12 targets, 7 receptions, but then he fell off, hurt his wrist. He needed to recover from that. He was kind of playing banged up. There was no Tua there, so he finished wide receiver 23. So from a numbers standpoint, kind of makes him look like he wasn't that good.
Right, he's barely a flex play.
So obviously he's somebody people might sleep on.
Yes, someone people might sleep on. Tyreek Hill is not going, probably for the first time in like 5 seasons, he will not be going in the first 2 or 3 rounds. You could make a case that you would rather some players over Tyreek Hill. Like, let me ask you, Myke.
Ooh, I was going to ask you, so I like this. Ask me.
Yeah, I turn the tables sometimes.
Okay.
Lad McConkey or Tyreek Hill? Knowing what you know now, today. If we were drafting tomorrow, 24 hours from now, Lad McConkey, Tyreek Hill, 2nd round, 3rd round. End of the 2nd round, going into the 3rd round. What do you think?
I probably still would go with Tyreek Hill.
Okay. I would go with Lad McConkey just because, I know Herbert has found rapport with him. Look at that playoff game with Houston, and even before the playoffs started, he was finding Lad McConkey. How about this one? Tyreek Hill or Alan Lazard? No, I'm kidding. Definitely not
Lazard.
Alan. Yeah, can you believe this mook took a pay cut to stay?
Pay cut. Yeah,
that's how he knew he wouldn't get anything on the market.
Oh, of course.
Rat.
I said no problem. Yeah, I'll take a pay cut. You need me to stay? Whatever I got to do.
Back to
Tyreek Hill.
Back to the question.
Yep.
I'll give you 2 more. Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp.
I'm taking again Tyreek Hill over Cooper Kupp.
I agree as well too. I wanted to give Tyreek a little shine there.
Yeah, no, listen.
Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel.
I gotta take Tyreek Hill again.
Wow.
Yeah,
Tyreek all 3. You see, I would roll with Deebo.
You know what though, and I'm not even big on Tyreek Hill this year. I am not looking to draft him.
I'd roll with Deebo.
He's wide receiver 16 right now in terms of ADP. Deebo, he is far down there, and the only reason. I just feel like he can get more production. When I ask
these questions, I'm just asking, not even based off of ADP, but like, what do you project? Like, sometimes we like to, like the best way to draft, which is honestly another tip, is connect the dots, right? So, for instance, if Amarion Hampton is drafted by the Cowboys and Javonte Williams is in front of him, well, more or less that Hampton is going to get the look sooner rather than later. So connect the dots. If you have to take him a round earlier to secure him, but he's not putting up numbers the first 4 weeks, sure, no problem. Make sure you get reinforcements. But you always want to try to connect the dots. I believe you did a good job with that last year with Brian Thomas. He didn't start for you right away, but he was on your bench for 3 weeks or so. And then he started playing great. Right out the gate, honestly.
Yeah.
And then you started inserting him in your lineup.
Oh, and by the way, correction, he is actually ranked wide receiver 13, and Lad McConkey is wide receiver 12, ADP-wise, from an ADP standpoint.
Right, so that was the closest one.
Yeah. And I just want to highlight the Lad McConkey thing. The only reason why I was a little leaning towards Tyreek is because I'm worried about who they might draft. And if they do pick up another running back, is he going to get more work? And plus, Lad McConkey...
wide receiver.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I don't know. I feel like the Chargers might draft a wide receiver, a talented wide receiver, or a talented running back early just to help fill in some slots over there. They need a wide receiver desperately, and they just brought back Mike Williams. But Ladd McConkey is an absolute stud. That's a really tough one. So actually, I did prepare a couple of things we were talking about, the who would you rather.
Right.
So
that leads us to the next
segment, exactly. So the who would you rather segment, and I think this is a juicy one.
Okay.
So we were talking about Ladd McConkey. Let me throw one back at you.
Okay.
Ladd McConkey or Jackson Smith and Jigba, JSN. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. I'm going to go with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Just because I know what I said about Ladd McConkey, but remember how I said about connecting the dots. You know, and this goes into the whole team, right? When I'm looking at a player. Seattle has the worst defense of both, right? You might say, well, Puma, what does that have to do with this question? It has all to do with this question. Game script, right?
They're going to throw the ball a lot.
They're going to throw the ball a lot. Whether Scam is back there or someone is back there, they're going to have to come back. And right now, JSN, even with Cooper Kupp coming in, he is the number one wide receiver there. So for me, I just go with the most talented guy, and that's Jackson Smith and Jigba. Not that Ladd doesn't have talent, but he's just a notch below, and he's more a PPR safe floor. I would say if you're asking me who's the safest player, it's Ladd McConkey. But if you want to hit a home run, it's Jackson Smith and Jigba.
He's got a high ceiling, definitely. Yes. And he's only 23 years old. As much as I don't want to say I'm big on him this year because we don't know what to expect with a new quarterback, new wide receiver over there being Cooper Kupp, no more DK. Totally new coaching staff too, right?
For an offensive standpoint, yes. Yeah. Ryan Grubbs, the former Washington offensive coordinator, and then then heading to Seattle. Now, former Seattle coordinator is out, and now Clint Kubiak is in. Actually, Sam Darnold's former quarterback coach of San Francisco. So he's in now, running the offense with Mike McDonald, McDonald's factory there. And, we'll see what it presents. It's going to look something similar, a little bit like Kyle Shanahan's offense in San Francisco. So big running back, and then they play to that ex-wide receiver, so whoever that will be. So that's why I say Jackson Smith and Jigba. Len, get the camera up here. Is bound for a Julio Jones season. 2017. No, 2017. Yeah,
okay.
2016. Yep.
2016.
When he had that big season, Kyle Shanahan's last season with Atlanta. I feel like he could be unlocked, JSN. And he's got all the targets. DK's out. Yeah. Tyler Lockett's out. Cooper Kupp's coming in on a down year. The main dude there, JSN.
He finished wide receiver 10 even with DK Metcalf ahead of him. So
exactly.
I think that's a great comparison. So the next one, I love this one because I feel like we're going to both take the opposite guys, and I'm ready to battle you for it, bro.
Let's do it. Why
don't you read it? I'll let you read it right after Ladd McConkey and JSN.
Okay. So would you rather, I could do this job too, Chase Brown or Kyren Williams? Now, I love both these. These are both Puma guys.
Dear to my heart.
Love them. I'm asking you the question. Chase Brown or Kyren Williams? I know where I'm going.
I personally have to go Chase Brown. What about you? And then I'll give you my reasoning first, though.
Kyren Williams.
I knew you were going to pick Kyren. I fucking knew it. I swear I knew it, man. Now, look, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I feel like they're both very similar running backs, also rated ranked back-to-back in terms of ADP, 11 and 12, 11 Chase Brown, 12 Kyren.
Yeah.
But the thing I like most about Chase Brown is the Burrow effect. Like last year you saw towards the end of the 2023 season, he had a little spark at the end of the year. A lot of people saw how he was. He had some big plays, explosive. And then last year, when Zach Moss went down and he became the workhorse, he immediately became an RB1. And he saw a lot of production because of Joe Burrow and having that Joe Burrow effect, someone who's going to move the ball down the field and put you into scoring position, give somebody like Chase Brown an absolute path to success this year. Not saying anything against Kyren.
No, I think both are great picks. But for me, it's Kyren Williams all day. And you know why it's Kyren Williams? Because when you see Matt Stafford stand in that pistol formation and he goes, turbo, turbo, which is like 70% of the time, and hands it right to Kyren Williams, they play the running back 70% of the time.
Yeah.
And especially in the goal line, you know Kyren Williams, that ball is going first. That's what Sean McVay loves, the running back. Todd Gurley fries back in the day.
I like it.
Right, then you had C.J. Bowling Ball Anderson and 2019 going to that Super Bowl with the Patriots. So Sean McVay loves using the running back.
He does.
Especially in the goal line. And I believe that if we're just going on offenses, you go with Sean McVay. Burrow, like Myke said, the Burrow effect, that's great for receiving. But you still got T. Higgins there who got re-signed. You got Chase, Jamar Chase that got re-signed. Too many Chase Banks in this offense. So for me, there's more options there. Not to say Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua or anything to sneeze about, but one is more run-orientated first, and the other one is pass. So that's my argument.
But he did have 4. So Chase
Brown. Not that he's bad.
Chase
I'm
Brown,
just sticking up for my boy.
Only 10 games started last year. He caught 4 touchdowns in the air. He did catch a lot back there, despite being, Burrow having his other receivers. He threw the ball a lot. And the Bengals defense this year, I'm also expecting their game script to be requiring them to throw the ball a lot because they have nobody on defense.
Right.
And so 4 touchdowns in the air, 7 on the ground. Coming back healthy, he had a sprained ankle at the end of the year. I mean, I'm willing to put my chips in on Chase Brown.
Also, too, we want to talk about the durability factor too of Kyren Williams. I can't remember the last time Kyren Williams missed a game. I mean, I know he does have Blake Curran
2 years ago
in the backfield.
Yeah.
And for me, also too, drafting, I like to draft a Rams running back room because now if Kyren goes down, I know I could come back in later rounds and get his handcuff Blake Corum. For the Bengals, I mean, it's whether it's Zach Moss or I don't even know who's next in line, but it would probably be a running back committee.
No, yeah, they have the running back right now. What's his name? He signed from the Bears. Who's their backup?
Oh, Khalil Herbert.
Khalil Herbert, who's okay, but
yeah,
this
I
is
think
Chase
Blake
Brown's backfield.
Right.
So look, either way, great picks. I threw this next one in there. It's kind of odd. I don't know if you want to go with it, but listen, if you were waiting on a last minute quarterback,
you're gonna be surprised.
Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence?
If I had my pick today, what I know today before the NFL draft, I'm gonna take Trevor Lawrence.
Wow, me too.
And
I wanted to argue a little bit.
And here's the reason why. Many people would probably think that we would side with the Justin Fields aspect, running quarterback, New York Jet. Here's the problem. The problem is that Justin Fields isn't as accurate as Trevor Lawrence. So if we're just talking about arm strength and accuracy, Trevor Lawrence wins all day. He was the number 1 pick for a reason. I think for me, Trevor Lawrence has more weapons. You have Travis Etienne, you have Brian Thomas. They might be getting another wide receiver in the draft. Not to say that Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson are anything to sneeze about, but the Jets, again, I've seen Trevor Lawrence with these weapons. I haven't seen Justin Fields with these weapons. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Not to say one's weapons are better than the other.
I agree.
It's more so that I know Trevor Lawrence could get the ball to them.
Yeah.
Right? And Gabe Davis. Let's not sleep over Gabe Davis. He's
big play Gabe.
Yeah, dude, the last pick in a round or something, round 13, dude, why not? In a four wide receiver roster spot? Yeah, sure. Yeah. So for me, I know Trevor could get the ball there. I haven't seen it from Fields. I mean, we see glimpses, but I have to see it. But if you're asking me this question today, it's Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I personally think if you waited for a last minute quarterback, or you're playing with 2 quarterbacks, he's definitely draftable. Justin Fields is.
If you're playing with 2 quarterbacks,
I really don't know.
Those super flex leagues, these are 2 guys that are great to get because you could get them late, and then even in a real draft, like a restart draft, Trevor Lawrence is probably not even being drafted, guys. You know what I mean? Like, people are taking Sam Darnold ahead of him. People are going to take Justin Fields ahead of him. People will take Russell Wilson over him just for the New York factor.
Yep.
So Trevor Lawrence and even Sam Darnold, maybe. No, not Sam Darnold. What's another quarterback that had a down year, but is Geno Smith, right? Smith. Geno Smith on the Raiders could go undrafted. Like, players like that can be overlooked and can win you a championship just because they could be those bye-week fillers and streamers. I'm not sitting here saying you should draft Trevor Lawrence as your QB1 for the year. No. Like, if you get a Jaden Daniels, why not get a Trevor Lawrence with your last pick and back him up, and hopefully they don't have the same bye week, or God forbid something happens to Jaden. All right, now you got a QB2 ready to plug in.
Yeah, and a couple guys rated ahead of him that I would take Trevor Lawrence over: Brock Purdy, Tua, Caleb Williams. These are guys that I would. I
don't know about Caleb Williams.
You would take Caleb Williams over Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I think with the new Ben Johnson system, you're going to see Jared Goff with legs.
We'll see. I also like the fact of Trevor Lawrence's new coach, Liam Cohen.
Yes. I think Trevor Lawrence can be
a little sneaky.
Well, not only that, I think he could be last year's Baker Mayfield.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. So we'll see. Now you read the last one. I threw this one on there for you.
Okay. Brock Bowers. Would you rather Brock Bowers or Trey McBride?
The 1 and 2.
Who's going first? You? Yeah, I asked you.
Me? No.
Who are you taking?
I'm going to take Trey McBride. I know you're taking Brock.
You could take that. You could say that with a straight face. Brock Bauer, Ranger. Are you kidding me, bro? This guy is a stud. He should have been a New York Jet. I'm gonna say it for the 75th time, but stud. Go on. And I believe with Geno Smith, it even makes him better. What did we say before, right? Game script. Raiders don't have really a great defense other than Max Crosby, right? They're going to be coming back in games.
Yeah.
Trey McBride, you have to worry about the Kyler running effect. You have to worry about Marvin Harrison Jr. You have to worry about James Conner. And the other running back that they have, Trey Benson. Multiple weapons. With the Raiders, it's Brock Bowers, and that's it for now. And
sure.
If they draft Genty, sure, but we'll cross that bridge when we can. It's Brock Bowers, and that's it.
I mean, you like overpaying for things, though, right? You really do. You must be the guy that pays like $5,000 over window sticker at the dealer. Just like, give it to me now, I'll take it. I don't want to draft him in the first round, and I feel like Brock Bowers is going to be first round worthy. I feel like Trey McBride, I can get him third round and get the same value.
Well, that's not the question. The question is, who would I rather? And I would rather Brock Bowers. If I'm drafting tomorrow, I'd probably get none of these guys. If you're asking me, it's the T.J. Hawkinson effect. It's the Evan Ingram effect.
Late round tight ends.
Right, late round tight ends. But if this question is the validity of it is just about who would you rather, I'd rather Brock Bowers. You're not asking me about my draft.
Look, if I'm going to say, like, from a dynasty perspective, or who's the better player, who's going to have the most production, yeah, I could say Brock. But that's why I'm saying, if I'm looking in terms of value of who's going where, to me, Trey McBride would be an easier selection. And I honestly have a feeling that people are sleeping on him, and they don't expect that he's going to score as many touchdowns as last year. Or he's going to score just the same amount as last year. I'm sorry, basically score none. But we'll have to see what happens there. I thought it was an interesting debate.
No, it's very interesting.
Me personally, I'm not a guy that drafts tight ends early unless it's in an absolute prime position. I like to wait on them, and in this case, it would be really tough for me to pick one of them. I think so. I love the Brock Bowers choice, though. You drafted him last year. You saw the talent. Right. He was there. So let's talk about some absolute lock players. I got a guy. You got a guy.
I'm going to go first. So my guy. My absolute lock. I'm going to call an audible here, Mike. And I'm going to take a page out of your book.
Okay.
I'm going to go wide receiver on his 11th year coming up. Mr. Myke Stairway to Evans.
Wow.
He's been a stud his whole career, unless barring injury, like any other, fantasy asset. Him with Baker Mayfield averaged 14 points last year. Dude, he was the wide receiver, 11 on the year, played 14 games. I could live without the 3. He's been a stud his whole career, and I just love watching him on the red zone when Scott Hansen comes on. Yeah. Because when him and Baker Mayfield link up, and his buddy across from him, beside him, Chris Godwin, make history, I want to have him. And I believe I can't get enough of Myke Evans since 2015. Future Hall of Famer. He's a stud. He always will be a stud. He's my locked and loaded consistency player. Give it to me. I like it.
It's so funny. I feel like every year, Myke Evans is one guy that I always try to stay away from because I feel like, oh yeah, he's gonna tank this year. I've done this for the last 3 years, and every year he's surpassed my expectations. And he's broken records now. Myke Evans probably is a really, really safe bet this year.
Right.
And
that's the whole point of this. This segment is, players out there that are not too risky, not too gambler-ish, and they want something safe, consistent, and they want someone they could rely on. Why not the future Hall of Famer, Myke Evans?
And I think I made my point earlier, but I have to go back to it. I didn't want to pick somebody like a Jahmyr Gibbs or Saquon, because these guys are obvious. I have to say Chase Brown is a lock this year. And I mentioned it earlier. It's the Burrow effect. Joe Burrow. You have a quarterback that is the best quarterback in the league, arguably. He might not run the ball a lot, but that's what Chase Brown's for. I don't want him to run the ball a lot. A guy like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, they're taking touchdowns away from the running backs. Granted, these guys are scoring more, but Chase Brown, he's going to be needed. They're going to get in scoring position. They're going to be in the red zone. And he's a tough runner, doesn't really get hurt that often, plays through everything. I saw him take some massive hits last year, and the guy gets right back up. I love his attitude. I love his age. And I think where you can have him drafted, he's an absolute lock. And you can be confident that he's going to probably keep the starting role for most of the season. So, Chase Brown last year, just a quick highlight of what he did. He was the RB14. He only started 10 games. In those 10 games, he had 990 yards, 7 touchdowns, 294 rushes. He was only on the field 65% of the time for the whole season, and he still scored 11 touchdowns. The first 6 games, he was sharing carries. So, and you saw a glimpse of it at the end of 2023. I think you're going to see even more than you did last year. He should be dominant. He's hungry. The whole Bengals team is hungry. So I'm going to have to go here. So anyway, that's it.
That's it.
We got another show coming up.
All good things must come to an end. And today's a wrap-up.
But we talked about a lot of players, a lot of key insights on guys that are going to be draftable.
Yes. And can be important down the stretch, especially coming into draft season. Everyone be on a lookout for our fantasy dynasty rankings. I think we should do a show about that as well.
Yeah, dynasty.
Get those up, and we're gonna have all that content up for you, especially on our new Instagram page. And man, we're working on it. We're about to release it, and can't be more excited.
Dude, I'm pumped. So. Remember, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you want anything, if you want to hear anything specific, if you have some questions, if you even just want to make a comment on our shirt selection or my balding, say something.
Yeah,
please drop a line.
Send them the turkey, please.
I'm not doing it in Turkey if I ever go.
Let them take Emirates.
For now, going all natural. So again, thanks for being with us. Mike Meals, my boy Joey Puma. We love to be here. We love this shit, man. I can't wait. 2 weeks, NFL draft.
Ready? Master your game.